Welcome back to Hulk 2003. Containment failure. Having reached the surface, one more obstacle remains. Gamma Base's energy shield. Find a way to the source of the shield's power, destroy it, and escape.
I thought it said government failure.
You know, if I didn't know better, I'd almost think we were getting near the end of this game.
No, we're not. Remember, Joe, we had still to defeat the leader.
I have one question.
What?
Go ahead.
Has there ever been a Mad Max parody with the Hulk?
You mean...
No, but
Wait,
probably a robot
Liz,
chick.
before you continue, I was referencing the final episode of the new TMNT.
yeah,
which
that's
is
what I was
Mad
gonna.
Max.
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
I know. I said it before you did.
I was wondering
was
if
there
you
ever
were...
like a Robot Chicken probably sketch about it?
He's talking about the ending to the TMNT show, which apparently ends
Wait,
with a
it's
mutant apocalypse.
ending?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
the finale's apparently a massive Mad Max.
Wait,
episode.
in that case, what is Nickelodeon offering at this
Uh,
moment?
they're
More
not-
Fairy Odd Parents or reshoots?
No, they cancelled it.
Oh,
Well, we don't know that. That's just a rumor.
I love how we just...
Apparently, they're making a new TMNT series.
oh, so we're rebooting it. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no
Uh,
idea.
Why
it's
is it
gonna
the
be-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
It's gonna be more lighthearted. Many people are thinking it's gonna be like Teen Titans Go.
Well, wasn't
Well, just because
2012
it's light-hearted doesn't mean it's gonna be Teen Titans. There
Wait,
are
what?
good light-hearted shows.
Of
Anyway.
course. Well, I agree with it, but also, wasn't the 2012 one already lighthearted, sort of?
It got darker at some point.
So it went more akin to the original graphic novel.
More like the 2003 show.
Well, only the 2003 show was the only one that kind of
And, that was,
tried.
and that's what's funny. The darkest
Alright, hold on.
Ninja
Target.
Turtle
You
shows
have
from
broken
4
through to the
kids.
power core of the shield generator. Find a way to use the generator to defeat. There
Hey,
you go, ladies and
we
gentlemen. Here's a...
agree.
I'm
Yeah, I was
trying
gonna
to narrate in Stan Lee's voice because it looks like it was written by Stan.
Anyway, I was
Of all things, Flux. Really?
Alright, why don't you tell us about Flux for those who not recall?
It again, it's another obscure Hulk villain, and I don't understand for the life of me why they
The hell's
bring it in
Flux?
this game. Not just that. It's like what Jova mentioned for the leader's brother. I mean, yeah, it's cool that they are they're giving more spotlight to these relatively obscure villains, but they're giving them absolutely no context. We just pop up, hey, I'm in the game, now beat the living shit out of me, please.
Yeah.
You know, if they were more integrated into the story, it would have been much fairer. I mean, don't ever give a comparison to a game. I kind of mentioned it before. Spider-Man Shattered Dimension does this a bit better. Sure, it has a pretty basic rogues gallery of villains from Spidey.
Well,
but
and Shattered Dimensions, that's because they are using alternate universes.
yeah,
so
no, but here's the thing, Deji. Not just that, Deji, but some of them are maybe not to be as much as known as as others, and we're also having to deal with other dimensions that normal comic book fans may just not know, or people who haven't read them anyway. But the thing is, the levels are constructed all around the villain. You get the introduction of that Spider-Man against the villain. The entire level is built around defeating that villain, but while getting simultaneously more, banter between Spidey and him or her all the time, hence building the character before the boss fight, the proper boss fight at the end. Here is just, oh, you reached that part of the level, here's a surprise cameo villain, now beat it.
I mean, heck, even Spider-Man Friend or Foe at least gave you a cutscene for every time you had an encounter before the boss fight.
Another game that does this much better is the 2002 Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, I love how
sorry,
they
the
actually...
Spider-Man game, sorry. Spider-Man game.
Yeah, the movie video
where
game.
they introduce they bring in quite a lot of, well, not maybe a lot is a bit too strong.
Vulture, Shocker,
Yeah, they bring in Vulture and Shocker, which up until the recent Homecoming movie have never been in a movie before. Except, unlike this game, they actually introduce them into the story.
Oh, go ahead.
And they also bring in Scorpion, who has never been in a movie.
Actually, he was in Homecoming.
Yeah,
Well-
but up until Homecoming, the
That's a
user thing.
post-credit scene.
That's the post-credit scene.
It
so
still
it doesn't
counts.
Not just that, Deji, but remember, up until 2017, and he's referring to like the 2002 video game, the closest thing people have memories of these relatively obscure villains is the 90s animated series.
And Spectacular Spider-Man.
I don't think Scorpion was in
I
Spectacular
think for
Spider-Man.
this game, I think for the fact that how it happens in this game is a bit more shameful than would ever happen, for example, in a Spider-Man game, because unlike with Spider-Man, these minor Hulk villains are even more obscure. So essentially, only very selected friends may know about their. With say like Shocker, as I mentioned, there still be a bit of a bigger connection due to the animated series cartoons. But
No, wait. He wasn't. He was an Ultimate Spider-Man, and he's in the new Spider-Man cartoon, which I heard is pretty mediocre.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, the boss battle works like this.
yeah, go ahead.
You have to destroy the generator so that the force field at the center falls out, so that you can throw Flux into the containment field so he can get hurt, and just keep doing this until he's done.
Hulk is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power.
I hate that game.
What game?
Everyone does, Joe. Godzilla 2014, the game.
And
Oh,
before you
right.
ask Twibs, no, just because it's 2014, it's actually not based on the movie.
Although it includes
Well,
that movie's
well,
version of Godzilla,
well,
which
how
Japanese
would
people considered fat.
Well, how would you make a game based off the two? How would you make a Godzilla game based off the 2014 movie if he's barely in the film?
Oh, well,
Just-
it's simple. Just do the scenes where he's in the film, but expand it and give him more levels.
So the game would last 20 minutes.
No, Dwibs. Just
wait,
do
wait,
what
wait,
Spider-Man
no, wait,
2002
wait,
did.
Wait, Dwibs. It'll be like the Iron Man 2 video game. They made a video game based on it, despite Tony Stark barely is Iron Man in that movie.
Just do it. Spider-Man 2000. Just
Well,
do
honestly,
it.
I don't know what's worse, Iron Man 2 or Godzilla 2014.
Just do what the Spider-Man 2002 video game did. Just create more story for the heroic life
Yeah,
side.
it's really not that hard.
A lot of Spider-Man games did that, like the Amazing Spider-Man video game.
Yeah.
For
Although
the better of the worse, I know that.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely going to be the last Activision Spider-Man game, which is sad. They've been making them since 2000.
Well, here's the thing.
We have to make
Dweebs,
good Spider-Man games.
not just that, Dweebs. They ever since Shadow Dimension, they milked the living shit out of Beanox Studio to make only Spider-Man games. So now that Insomniac is doing the new one, maybe Beanox has a bit more time to relax or to do different things.
Well,
Because
after what happened to Neversoft.
I would have been fine with Beanox. I mean fine.
Oh
with
wait, guys, I
Beanox
think he's
Spider-Man
never mind.
games.
He's down.
Cutscene.
Sorry. Into the trash you go.
Yeah, I'll be quite honest. I have no idea who Flux is either.
Oh, you don't know Flux?
You shouldn't, Joe. It's very minor.
Basically, General Riker took one of his soldiers and turned him into this super big Hulk-like creature to capture the Hulk.
So very generic.
Yeah.
Gee, that sounds like what
Return
happens
to-
to a lot of characters in the
Return
Hulk
to
universe.
Alcatraz, where the leader is twisting your energy to create a mutant army. Return to the underground facilities. Pick up the trail of the ore.
Okay. I know that Pedro already told us that's the leader behind this, but I don't think the story's established that the leader's the one behind all this. And what about Ravage? Did they all of a sudden stop
It was,
mentioning him?
Betty mentioned.
It was Betty. It was Betty who told us.
And anyway, what about Ravage? Did the game just forget about him?
No. Ravage. Don't worry. We will fight Ravage. It's just that he's back at Alcatraz, helping the leader raise his army and shit.
Ravage should have been a Marvel vs. Capcom.
Alright.
Alcatraz, hang on, if that's, aren't Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery there?
No, dude.
Wait, are you referencing The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is Michael Bay's best movie.
That's
Bad
saying a lot.
Boys.
I don't think I've
Bad
actually seen that
boy.
one anyway, so I can't. No.
What?
Bad Boys is good.
Well, if I've heard Bad Boys 2 wasn't
Yeah, it's
Bad,
not.
Bad
It's
Boys 2 is
not.
terrible. My
We
problem.
are getting a Bad Boys 3.
My problem with the Bad Boys movies is how it's literally Michael Bay taking two of the most charming, charismatic African American actors and completely stereotyping them to no end
Yeah.
with the typical motherfucker shit. You know the one. Like it's
Okay,
it's so juvenile. Well, it's Michael Bay. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay, honestly, besides a few of the Big Mama movies, how many good movies has Martin Lawrence been in?
That's actually an interesting question because I don't know the answer.
That's just the thing, Deji. Martin Lawrence is one of those bad luck actors who are actually really good. The problem is that they need to get a better agent, or they need to just just start actually looking at the script before you say yes, because there seems to be in so many bad movies.
I fully agree, Michael. He's had his occasional bouts of good luck, and he's definitely a good actor. I mean, heck, even in his bad movies, his acting is pretty
He's
top
usually
notch.
the best part of the movie.
I
Let's
know.
not forget, Deji, how Al Pacino and Abe Vigoda, for the later part of their careers, were for the most part in terrible movies, despite being iconic, legendary actors.
You know what actor I always see a lot that's always in bad movies? Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider kind of brought that on himself when he started doing Red Face.
Rob Schneider, derpy derp.
I mean, you think he would have been? It's just terrible because he's just being in his own shit movies where he's pretty. But no, even in Judge Dredd, he's probably the worst part of that movie. Jeez.
Which is probably saying a lot considering how bad that movie was.
Yeah, but for the most part, he's one was bad, but it's kind of charming. I mean, see Stallone overreacting to everything.
The only Stallone movie I can think of where there wasn't really much entertainment value in it is the remake of Get Carter,
Or Expendables 3.
aka
Rocky 5.
Well, what are you talking about?
aka what happens when America tries to remake a British movie.
What are you talking about with Expendables 3? Everyone gets to beat the shit out of Mel Gibson. How awesome is that?
It is, but it's too late, too little, too late. That
Yeah,
the rest of the movie is a
especially
slog
when they-
and pretty much
especially when they
betrayal
replace-
to the rest of the franchise.
Especially when they replace all the Expendables with no-name newbies.
Yeah.
The only one I liked was Antonio Banderas. Everyone else ranged from Kellen Lutz to Ronda Rousey.
Also benching.
But I haven't seen any of the Expendables.
Oh, also,
I
be-
do want
Watch
to.
watch the first two. Don't ignore the first
Yes,
one.
Jova?
Also, benching Terry Crews was a cardinal sin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, benching everyone was a cardinal sin. You had Wesley Snipes on your team and you throw him away.
At least they brought back most of the older guys, but Terry Crews sits out most of it because
Oh,
he
there we
gets
go.
hospitalized. Heck, I was afraid he was dead.
Rob Schneider.
No, wait, Jova. Hey, Jova, I got it. I remembered the reason why Terry Crews was in the bed for most of Expendables 3.
What?
Because they couldn't do Don't Feast.
No, I remember something. He was actually hosting a season of your version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Was he?
Don't worry,
yeah,
Grips.
he
You
was.
can look forward to an Expendables 4 with Rob Schneider in the lead role.
Oh, crap.
Rob Schneider.
What the fuck did I start?
Hey, Deji, speaking of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, what the hell did you guys do to the music?
I don't.
Yeah. Rob Schneider is a popular comedic actor.
we-
with
okay.
everything going for it.
We had two composers here at the UK.
Dwebs, I don't know. Stop
What the hell
asking me
happened?
things I don't know.
You're American. I thought you'd have a better idea than I
You're
would.
British and you have no knowledge about Big Ben and the Queen of England and so many other things. Why don't your soldiers ever move, huh? Why don't they?
Because they
It's
like
like a-
looking silly.
That's like a
What?
French college student not knowing what the fleur-de-lis is. Oh wait.
I'm
Or like
surprised.
Wait, what are you referencing, Pedro?
Doctoral track.
I thought you were. For a second, I thought you were gonna say ladybug or something. I don't
That's
know
like
why.
that's like if Teo doesn't know what the Tower of Pizza is. Like it's
Pizza,
Wait,
not pizza. Even the
Whatever.
Japanese fucked it up.
Wait, Tio, you're just proving his argument.
Fuck.
Or if Pedro
you
didn't.
know. Oh, about
I'm not
it,
Italian, so I'm not obligated to know.
Okay, so does Portugal have a historic landmark?
No, Dwayne, my country is incredibly bland and
Isn't
boring.
there a the departure point of Christopher Columbus? Like he.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, Christopher Columbus was originally Portuguese, yes.
No,
What?
Everyone hates.
he's
Christopher
Italian.
Oh, never mind, I'm
There are
mistaken.
people
I
who
don't
confuse him
know.
for Spanish, but there's the thing. He was Italian. He got commissioned by the Spanish
I'm
queen,
thinking of someone
and
else, never mind.
he
Sorry.
departed from Lisbon.
Native Americans are not Indians. Shut up.
Deji, were you ever seeing that video from that guy who ruins everything, saying Chris Columbus is a giant dick?
No, I don't watch Adam.
Regardless of that, the point is, no, Dwebs, my country is incredibly boring and has nothing to...
No. It has something interesting. It has something interesting.
It does? That's
Yeah. You.
Me?
No,
True.
instant shipping.
No.
So what do you do about the
I'm
helicopter?
interested
You're
in
here
somebody
today
else.
to win Deji to Pedro.
So anyway,
Dwebs, the closest thing we have to pop... if you come here to Portugal and ask a tourist guide, okay, what's like a cool Portuguese landmark that I can visit? Historical landmark I can visit. The guy will probably go like, we have castles, we have...
Do you have a White Castle?
We have
Football stadium.
statues.
Wait.
Like seriously,
Here's the.
we have generic castles, we have generic statues, we have.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
that's pretty much it, really. Like we don't really have. We don't have an Eiffel Tower.
Wait,
We don't.
oh wait,
Uh,
hold
it's
on,
not-
guys. I think something's happening.
No,
Also,
don't worry, Joe. But nothing's
also,
happening.
Dweebs, stadium is not an historical landmark.
It's another helicopter.
It can be. The few of them in the UK are like that.
Old
There are
Trafford.
probably several dozen of artists Dweebs that are rolling in their grave just for that statement.
No, wait, Pedro. I have a question. Do you guys have a Toys R Us?
I'm pretty sure most all countries have.
Oh,
Toys R
well,
Us.
the one
Yeah,
here in
Toys-
Britain is going to be no Toys R Us.
Yeah. Toys R Us is going bankrupt.
Well, in
Oh,
that case,
no.
my country's not gonna have them as well. Then.
I should have seen the signs earlier because a couple of years ago they closed down the one in Times Square, which I went to all the time as a kid, and replaced it for a Gap. I'm like, what? Why? They're like, oh, now that explains everything.
I think part of the problem is their customer service has been lacking lately, and the fact that you're cool and all, but you gotta have better.
Lately, he says.
Okay. Since the
That's
last
super-
decade.
Man,
Is
they've
it-
always been bad.
Doesn't well, I was surprised because I thought that that kind of toy shop chain brand would have survived just exclusively of bronies getting all those licensed Hasbro things.
Here's
Well,
the problem.
Here's the thing: you can get them anywhere.
It's
Another
it's,
helicopter?
It's a
I
bird.
got
There
it.
you go, another one.
Anyway.
Helicopter.
Anyway. Here's the problem with Toys R Us. At some point, they got way too big for their britches and assumed that they were the Walmart of toys companies. Like, they could act whatever way they wanted and yet still be able to face up to the competition. What they didn't realize was that they had their smaller competitors. Like, admittedly, they had GameStop rivaling them for games. They had Target, and of course Walmart themselves, rivaling them for toys. And it came to a point where, you could get toys for better prices at places other than Toys R Us. And it didn't help that the customer service was terrible and not well handled. And you see why they're in so much trouble. You don't assume that you're like king of the corn until you're absolutely sure that you are in that state.
You
Also-
hear that, Circuit City? Oh wait.
Also, that hangar supposedly held 3 helicopters, but wasn't big enough even probably for one.
Wow.
It's a video game.
Counts as well.
Sure,
It's
I
not a
guess.
comic book.
Well, even in comic books, a lot of times proportions are all over the place.
Look
Even
at
when it
you,
comes
Rod
to that.
Liefeld.
Well, yeah, that's for the bodies, but I was saying also from the ambient.
Oh, so you mean like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Bazing!
Well, wait, what about, are some of the stages wrong in that regard?
Most look good, but some are a bit off.
Why is MODOK a stage hazard now?
Because no one likes him.
Don't you see, Deji? We have to...
True, but he's part of the story mode.
See, here's the real reason why he's in the background there. It's because they need something to show, hey, AIM and Umbrella are fused together, because it's a generic-looking lab that otherwise might as well just be an Umbrella lab. Like, MODOK is literally the only way you can tell that it's Umbrella instead of Umbrella.
But it's being led by Jeddah.
We gotta fuse them together somehow.
I
Also,
don't get what you mean, but whatever.
Also, how cool is it? Hey, Captain Marvel's getting her movie, you know, way after Black Panther, yet who's the one who's in playable and not DLC? Her instead of him.
More female representation, man.
But no black ones.
But hey, don't worry, you'll get to download Venom.
Andy Brock is white, Deji.
No, yeah, but black suit symbiote.
Spider-Man is one.
You know.
Why can't we just play as Miles Morales? Everyone likes him now.
Hope maybe he'll be an alternate skin.
No, actually, he might.
Hey, you know.
I mean, did you guys see the new trailer for Injustice 2, which had Raiden?
Yeah, which has a screen of black lightning.
Yep.
But no static shock.
You know he was supposed to be playable in the game, right? But they cut him out at the last minute.
You know, one thing I like that Injustice did was that they...
Wow.
Yeah. You know, one thing I like that Injustice did was that they had Jon Stewart as a skin for Hal Jordan. Except
Well, it was like that even in the first game.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, well, they actually went above and beyond and actually gave him his own voice and everything. That was, good.
But no Kyle Rayner.
No one cares.
I do.
I like
He's my
Kyle
Green
Rayner.
Lantern.
I like Kyle Rayner, I mean...
Why did they use him for Justice League in the DC animated show?
That I actually don't know.
Jon Stewart's
he was
better.
an established character since he did appear in Superman the Animated Series.
I guess that... Oh, well...
Oh no, that's slow-mo.
Hey, no, funnily enough, he did show up, actually, in an episode of Justice League Unlimited.
Alright. Without it, you've broken through the new structure beneath Alcatraz, fueled by the Gamma Orb. This structure is designed to harness the power of the Hulk and with it create a mutant army. Find the Gamma Orb and put an end to this plan.
Everything's Gamma.
Wait, hold on. Didn't we already deal with the Gamma Orb the first time when, you know, the guy used it to turn into Ravage?
No. Remember, after Dr. Crawford became Ravage, he took the Gamma Orb, and right now he's using it to create more. All of these Gamma soldiers were made thanks to the Gamma Orb.
I know about that. It's just like, I could literally swear that we dealt with an objective telling us to hunt down the orb beforehand.
It's because the level. It's because there's multiple levels that can go even before something in the plug gets accomplished. We only really destroy the Gamma Orb at the end of the game.
Of course.
So why not fake us out with an objective?
More surprised of the fact that Alcatraz has such a net of tunnels underground. He's again just like in The Rock. He's the real Alcatraz really like that.
Jeez.
I'm not. I don't know.
Well, I was asking to the Americans if they know.
Wait, what?
If Alcatraz really has such a big, tunnel net underground.
Sure,
There you go. See? Apparently the Gamma soldiers are bred in that oven.
Wait.
I'm not implying that you have been incarcerated there. Don't worry.
Wow. I was gonna say, you think the government will actually let us know? And even if we did, we think we'll be obligated
it is
to tell you?
dismissed, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we'd have a lot more criminals escaping if we had, this
I would understand if Guantanamo, say, would have been this protective, but Alcatraz?
Alcatraz is surrounded by a lot of water. So,
Oh, true.
you'd think that, yeah, with all this underground stuff, they would have had to have plunged way deep down.
It's like constructing a subway. Where that's a common job that people do in my country. No one would even bother to try constructing a subway in Venice because it's an entire city held on top of water.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I
Hi,
think
guys.
you need to get more, to take down more barriers in this level. Well,
Yes.
oh, and of course the newly born
You know,
mutant soldier.
you know, Pedro, you should have just played the Werehog theme.
Well, the Hulk doesn't have stretchy arms, that's Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hulk will still take on the Werehog.
Oh yeah, and now we also have to close. In order to destroy some barriers, we have to punch these specific devices so we can stop the beam of light from existing, I guess, and that will somehow bring down the barrier.
Of course.
You know,
Well, to be fair, this is the kind. In order for the Hulk to be able to solve a puzzle, it would have to be a brain-dead puzzle like this, because the Hulk is not
Yeah.
capable of
you
solving.
know,
Well,
you
it
know.
could have been something different, like levers or, you know, buttons to jump on or something.
You know, if the leader is so smart, you know what he should have done? Make a decoy device that looks like it's easily fixed by just smashing, the Hulk's thing. Hulk would smash it, and then that would trigger a trap that would ensnare the Hulk.
Kind of like how you get into the Metal Sonic boss fight in
Well,
Sonic Mania.
Jova, one thing that we usually like to say here in my country is that just because you're intelligent, that doesn't mean you're smart. As in, like,
Fair.
Wait, what?
Well,
I see where he's coming from. It means like, well, just because you have a high IQ doesn't mean you're always gonna deal with things the smartest way.
Intelligence, much like with other things, is a power. Just because you put
You see, what I
possessing
would
you to
say
use it.
is just because you're intelligent doesn't mean you have common sense. Because believe it or not, you'd be surprised how many smart people lack common sense.
True, Dej, but a lot of people that act in a malicious way, using that intelligence, are not using common sense.
Exactly.
yeah.
Whatever.
It's to
Anyway,
the idea that even the greatest criminal mastermind can muck up especially easily.
Yeah.
Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
Cutscene.
Look at all the
Wait, hold on, we're getting help?
Dr. Cortex.
Oh, it's a trap. Okay.
No.
Wait, so
No.
you're telling me that the Mook motioning to us was an obvious bait?
Yeah, he even mocked the whole company just to bait him there.
Hmm.
Alright, what to do now? Oh,
Climb
you
back
need-
up.
Up
Gee,
we
it's
go.
not like Hulk has a super jump that we've seen him use in game cutscenes.
So, once again, gameplay story segregation.
Again,
Also,
though.
gotta love how all these mutated dogs
Oh,
are.
trust me,
completely
Jova.
raised.
Trust me, Jova. I'm gonna get a lot into that when we start Knack, because there's a lot of cool stuff that we see Knack doing in the cutscenes that we never get to do in the game, and it's frustrating beyond belief.
Wait, Act 2?
No,
Well,
Knack.
the first one.
Knack
we're going-
2 is
I'm-
surprisingly
I'm-
a legit improvement in
I'm gonna
what
start-
you-
But it's
I'm
not saying much.
I'm gonna start recording it soon, so I'll see for myself if it is. Thanks to Sony's brilliant security, I was able to get it for free.
Yeah, in case you don't know, Deji, Sony, when releasing Knack 2, Sony had
Yeah,
some kind of fuck up. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. It was
Idiots.
glorious. It was glorious. Like almost the entirety of Europe had the game on the store for free for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's weird because Sony had a lot of fuck ups on the PlayStation Network, but not on this type.
Huh.
Anyway,
Actually, they have Teo. Back when Final Fantasy 15 came out, it was really low price for a mistakenly low price for a bit.
So we weren't able to reach the bomb in time before the countdown hit 0.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
In the next
Nothing.
part, we do one more banner level. So see you then.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.